Howdy, folks. Dave Mann here, Roman Revolution audio podcast. Now, you may have seen a couple of my videos that I posted to Getter, and I'm basically posting exclusively to Getter and to Rumble because I pretty much have been kicked off of most of the other platforms at one time or another because they, as you well know, they censor what it is you can say. It becomes very, very difficult to tiptoe around all that nonsense, and I personally just don't have the time for it. To those who do know who I am and have followed my podcast in the past, are well aware of basically the transition that's kind of happening right now. See, I swore to myself that I would never really get back into the political side of things because the Roman Revolution was a podcast that was dedicated to handling life's kind of like little challenges, more or less changing the way you kind of see the world and then the way the world sees you, because I believe that how you see the world determines how you live your life. So if you see the world in a specific way or a negative way, you may interact with the world and engage in that world in that negative way. And it all comes down to your interpretation. You know, what we focus on and what we are told to ignore. And again, that's another broader subject, but ultimately the Roman Revolution has been one of those podcasts that was trying to deal with the root cause of problems. And as you well know, as I'm standing here right now looking in front of you, I am part and a member of the fuck are we tribe. Where the fuck are we? Maybe you can tell me, because this is in America. I don't know really where we lost the fray in this country, or where we kind of fell off the cliff, but it has been a progressionary problem. And as a person who's my age now, I'm 45 years of age, and you know, like I said, as you get older, I remember when I was younger, when I was in 18, and I thought I knew everything about everything, just like 18-year-olds do today. They believe that they can handle all of life's problems until you start living life. And then you start to realize everything that you learned in school, all of the stuff that they taught you, is irrelevant most of the time to the things that you're going to need to handle in the real world. But, there I say again, we're living in a time that is unrecognizable. You know, being American used to mean something people were proud of, I'm still proud to be an American, but not proud of the America or whatever this is that has been created with the use of government, with the use of big business, and with the use of the banking system. This whole cabal has pretty much brought us to this place where we are, and the whole reason why is they got you and me arguing amongst ourselves and not looking at the root cause of the problem. Okay? So the Roman Revolution, my podcast, was always dedicated to basically checking out those problems and then trying to break things down in a way so that you and the person next to you could understand it and share it with anybody you wanted to. Because the problem I see here, or the road that we are working on, is that our language, our borders, and our culture, which is the definition of a nation, okay? A nation is defined by language, borders, and culture, okay? Those are the specific areas that this administration and the administrations prior to, not Trump, but the ones prior to, were trying to destroy, okay? You can see they're slowly working out let's look at the language real quick. Let's look at language. Let me just I gotta use my whiteboard now because good old Cortez had to jump ship, go to Fox Business. So he don't get no whiteboard no more, I got the whiteboard. Okay, so language. G-U-E, borders, and culture. C-U-L-T-R-E. All right, I'll spell it right. No one will do that. Anyway, so a country is defined by those specific things: language, borders, and culture. Now, what do they do with the language? Well, you can't talk to your next door neighbor about what a vaccine is anymore. What is the definition of what a journalist is today? Okay, because the whole media situation, they found in the court system that it's not an obligation of the media to tell you the truth. That's happened in multiple court cases where people felt that they were being defamed or that the media was lying to them, and that's why you made a decision. Well, the media, according to the court system, in many cases, has basically said that they're not there. They are under no obligation to give you the truth. Now, ask yourself how asinine that is, okay? what news basically is, and what journalism has always been, is basically a narrowing of facts. These are the facts that we were able to ascertain. We've asked these people and these people and these people. We looked into it, went down, and this is the baseline story based upon the best information we have at the moment. And a lot of times stories never run because they don't have the whole picture yet, and they don't want to get it wrong. But today, as you can see, stories are created out of thin fucking air. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to use the word, but they're created out of thin air, all right? And the problem with that is if you have a society of people, okay, this, what the fuck are we? You know, I don't know where the fuck are we are anymore, because there's a society of people that they know something's wrong. They feel something's wrong. They're looking around and they don't recognize anything, but they don't do anything about it. Well, the problem with that is, and again, I'm not asking anybody to become Mother Teresa overnight. No, but if you don't do anything, if you sit here and you allow these problems to fester over the periods of time, you can see what happens. The boil is just going to get larger and larger and larger. And finally, when it bursts, it's going to be so unbelievable that you're not going to recognize what up, down, left, and right anymore, okay? Your society, your country, because the language, borders, and culture have been completely annihilated and manipulated, okay? So what did they do with language? They basically took the language and they perverted it. We can't have communication with anybody anymore because we don't know if we're talking about the same terms and terminology. I cannot tell you what the kids in school today have been taught, because they come out with a different perception of the world. Because I was talking to a kid just at my regular job the other day, and the direction it was heading, and I don't want to get into it because it gets really, really uncomfortable, but the direction it was heading, I'm like, oh my God, this kid doesn't know what really is going on at all. And that frightens me. And it's not because I want to be right and I want to prove you wrong or this person wrong. It has nothing to do with that. I am not in the being right business. I'm in the getting it right business. And that's the thing. If you want to take the credit, by all means, you can take everything that I'm recording right here and post it on your site and make it your own. I don't care. It's not about the credit. It's not about credit at all. It's about knowing what it is that's really going on, sharing it with people, and then if necessary, engaging in the process to make sure that things happen the way that they're supposed to. That is America. That is what we've always been. What this is we're dealing with right now is unbelievable. Okay? Now, there are many books out there right now. There are many books that you can buy. The Letters to Trump is a very, very good book. There's, The Four Turning. There's so many really good pieces of information out there right now. But there is one that the Roman Revolution myself believes is a very, very good book, because I think it is the core problem as to what has happened. When I said, we got to get back to root causes in this country. The language, border, and culture are being perverted. We know they're being perverted. We see it happening every day. The border, look at it. You got millions of undocumented people scattered around strategically by our own government. And they're not doing anything about it. They're pretending. Mayorkas sat there. You saw him. He pretended to not know. I don't see anything wrong with anything. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just sitting here like he's a freaking robot. He is literally a puppet. Somebody's got their hand up his ass and they're mopping his head for him. He's just a bobblehead doll, a figurehead, an actor, a tyrant. He should be impeached, okay? But he sat there. He has no intentions of fixing that border. None whatsoever. And our culture, look what they've done to the culture. Look what they've done to it. They got you and me arguing about everything. For every movement, there's an anti-movement. And they basically take control of both sides and then bang them over. And then the media takes it and flares it up. Flares it up. It's racism everywhere. Sexism everywhere. It's feminism everywhere. This trans thing. Do you know this trans thing, okay? And any psychologist who really is in the know, just listen to Jordan Peterson. Listen to some of the doctors that basically have been talking about this for a very, very long time and have been whipped over the head because of this. The media doesn't know what they're talking about. And the media has been lying to people for a very long time. So why in hell's name are people believing anything the media says? Why would, this is again where parents have to get involved. You can't allow these school systems to educate your children in the way that they are doing, because this is the result. You basically taken the control that you have. You're responsible for the child, feeding it, clothing it, making sure it has all the things that it needs, making sure that it is protected, all that stuff. But then when it comes to their education, to their mind, to how they see the world, you have no control over that. You see what they're doing. They are literally manipulating the culture in any possible way. And the best way to do so is by perverting the young folks. Perverting them. Telling them that they can be whatever they want to be. The truth can be whatever you want it to be. There is no truth. You create your own truth. No. We're living in a world of fantasy. We're living in a world where things just don't make any sense anymore. So if we're looking at books and literature and things like that that we need to basically grace ourselves with, Josh Hawley has a great book out basically talking about masculinity. What has happened to men? I feel really sorry for women out there that, you know, are really trying to make their way in the world or whatever, and are looking for men that at their age, okay, in the society and the generation that they're growing up in. They're not there. The men are not engaged as they used to be. They're not masculine. They don't have that drive, that protective vibe, that understanding about, you know, principle over, you know, over being part of the bigger crowd. You know, the integrity of what a man used to be, of what men stood for, has all been destroyed. They've demasculated this. And again, it's within this trans movement and all of these other movements that have basically taken what men are and what women are and totally screwed them up. It's called the perversion of the language, culture, and the borders. That is the destruction of a nation. And I don't mean to get too amped up. I don't want to look like Alex Jones on here. But seriously, this stuff is real to me, my friends. It's always been real to me, okay? The world we're living in, okay, and the world that I want are polar opposites. And I'm sure you're in the same camp as I am. But the only way we fix this, okay, is if you and I get involved. There are no white hats coming to save us. Trump is not going to save you. There is no specific one person that is going to save any of us. The power is in the voice. The power is in the person. The power is in the ability to take what you know, which you believe, and to articulate it to as many people as possible, okay? And then you have a discussion, and then it brings more in. It separates the fray. We see where society is based upon the conversations that we have. Not listening to the media, because what the media has done has narrowed the window for you, has told you, no. We have it. We got control over it for you. We'll tell you what the world is, what the stories is, what the news is. Again, look at the people that are in Congress. Look at the leaders that you have representing you right now in your state. Just go take a look at them. And look at them. Listen to them talk. Listen to the way that they move. Okay? I'm a big expert. I consider myself an expert in nonverbal communication, body language, and again, that's another story for another time, and I can explain basically how that became part of my repertoire. But long story short, you want to understand a lot about people. Watch the way that they talk versus the way that their body is, and you can tell a liar right out the gate, okay? There's a thing about people in Congress, and in a lot of them are plants, puppets, people that have been put in and propped up, okay? What worries me, and again, this is what bothers me about DeSantis, okay? DeSantis is taking advice from the wrong people. It's obvious. I live in Florida, okay? I know him. I've seen him. I've been to some of his little engagements and rallies and whatnot, but I've also been to a Trump rally. Well, I didn't go to one. I drove past one, okay? And there is no comparison. You can look on the television. There's no comparison. There's an energy vibe difference, okay? There's also a heartbeat difference, okay? There's also, are you actually your voice, or is somebody speaking for you or telling you what to say? There is an authenticity that comes in politics. There's an authenticity that comes in everything that you meet. You know right out the gate, you as a human being, you and me right now. If a person comes up to you and starts talking to you like, how are you doing, Mrs. Smith? Yes, it's great to be here today. I really like that dress you're looking for. You look at them as a crack. You're like, okay, this guy's obviously playing me, right? But we don't do that with politicians. We don't look at the person and say, look, okay, all right, I know that the person fits the part, looks the part, it's got all of the damn wine and dime and glime, and he says everything right. But is what they're saying true? Is what they're saying reality? If we don't start questioning that kind of stuff and start really looking at stuff, language, border, and culture are going away. These people have found a way to destroy each one of these. They don't care about you. Okay, if you're a person who watches The War Room and Steve Bannon frequently, he constantly talks about this thing. They don't care about you. What they're talking about is that by destroying this, okay, it gains them control of everything else that's influxing into this country. It's gaining control of everything else, okay? They don't want you because you have the power. You have the voice. You are the ones that change the direction in which countries move. America, my friends, is the last damn stand. It's the last stand. There is nothing else. If we can't make it here, there's no hope for Europe. There's no hope for anything, okay? We have the power. Our Constitution gives us the rights to use our voice, to use the power to assemble, to use the power of our vote, to get directly involved and find out what the hell is going on there, and to hold the people who claim to represent us accountable. That is our job. It's our duty. Okay? We need to start being men in this country. Women need to start being women in this country. We need to start going back to what it means to be a family, to taking care of what is ours, what is personally ours, and then what is privately ours, and then what is publicly ours, and then what is like locally ours, stately, and then nationally. We have to look close. Because again, like I said at the top of this, when we get the man right, we get the world right. That's why that book by Josh Hawley is so important for men out there. And there are other books out there about basically the family unit, understanding what it means to be you and what you do, the effects you have on the world. The effects that you have play a huge part. What you say matters. And when you speak truth, and you speak truth from the heart, people recognize it. I mean, I said it before, said it in many other videos, it says, you never know the impact that your voice is going to have to a listening ear, okay? So when you know something to be true, and that's your wheelhouse, speak up. Don't let people take the conversation in the wrong direction, okay? Don't let them speak bullshit. I know it's tough. I know it's hard. Nobody wants to be the one that upsets the apple cart. But again, we're in weird times, okay? They have pulled us so far over the line that in order to get our nation, our country back, we have to repair these. We've got to get control of that border. It's a must. You don't have a nation, you don't have a border. You don't have a nation if your culture is completely perverted, if you destroy it up. Look what they did to Germany. We're after World War I. Look what happened to Berlin. It became the sex capital, and they started putting all this junk into there. Any place you go, anything you want, any place, anywhere, anytime. That's what they're turning the United States into. The game is the same. And the argument is this, okay? They know you and I have the power. So they know that the best way to beat us up is to have you and us fight, you and me fighting each other. If you and I are beating each other over the head, that means we're not recognizing what they're truly doing behind the scenes. It's a wake-up call, guys. It's the biggest wake-up call in the world. We have this. And the reason I know we have this, because I've seen it happen before. I've seen what happens when you have the right people in the right place at the right time saying the right things to people. It moves people. People know. They recognize truth. It lives within all of us. It lives within you. You have skills to bring to the table that that could change the course of history. When we put our minds and our hearts in the right place, you can change the world. This is real, folks. You want our nation back. You want a world that you can raise your children in, that you can have prosperity in, that maybe one income should be able to sustain a household in this nation. The way we do that is by reinvesting back in the people and the places. Look at companies that reinvest back in their associates. The companies like Publix is a good example. When they reinvest back into the associates, it makes the system blossom, bloom, and thrive in a better way. When the nation gives all their money away to all these foreign countries and then says F you to the American people, look what happens. They got you and me fighting over each other when we're not the ones supposed to be fighting each other. We're supposed to be fighting these people. The people that are destroying. What's the root cause? What's the root cause of our problems? Your government. Sorry. Your administrative state. This, what they call deep state. It's not a conspiracy. A word invented by the CIA, the same people that have a lot of questionable things that are starting to come out, and a lot of whistleblowers coming out saying that this place is run like a friggin' Gestapo agency. Of course it is. Of course it is. But that's a video for another time, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But bottom line, folks, the root cause of any problem is how you solve problems. See, we're living in a time right now where the government, this deep state, administrative state, creates this thing called problem, reaction, solution, okay? The problem, reaction, solution means that they create the problem by putting in policies, making executive orders, doing the things that Joe Biden did basically in the first 100 days of his administration, setting the foundation, okay? And then they just open up the borders and let it run and watch what happens, okay? You've basically done everything that you could to make a country weak, defenseless, and unprotected. What Joe Biden and this administration and all of his heads of every one of the departments have done is basically pulled our pants around our ankles and have us walking in the middle of a minefield. That's what they've done. And it's done purposely. This is not ignorance. This is all has a plan. You can't look at the southern border and tell me that you don't know something bad is going on. You can't look at election after election and having people go, damn, these things don't make sense at all. At all. Okay? And again, I don't care if you want to be an election denier or not. Look, I've worked in elections in the state of Florida for 20 years, okay? I was there when the old Chad thing was going on in 2000. Remember that? Okay? When we still used those little cards. Those cards were still 100 times better, and we still could get them all counted within 24, 48 hours. Sorry. This crap with the machines is all nonsense, and you know it. And the only reason that you have a machine is because you know it can be manipulated. Now with AI coming on board, I'm telling you right now, you have that thing hooked to a machine, it's over. Game over. We have an opportunity right now, this moment, not tomorrow, not next week, not next year, now. Okay? You don't know the impact that your voice is going to have to the person next to you, to the person at work, to your church. We have no idea. But I can tell you, I do know, if you do nothing, nothing at all, the outcome that you're going to see, the future that you want, it's not going to be what you want. I'm sorry. I love this country more than anything in the world. I fought every single day for this country and the world. My wife and I fought every day for this country, sharing the message, trying to inform as many people as I could. But sadly, because of this Biden administration, the policies that he put in place, and all of the shit that has happened in America, I lost my wife to the fentanyl crisis. Complete accident. And he took away my best friend, my co-pilot, my MAGA buddy. He took a lot. It's horse shit, is what it is. But does it really matter? You're damn right it matters. It may not matter to you, but it certainly matters to me. And what all that did was turn one man's quest into a crusade. You're waking up more people and you're scratching the back of a giant you have no idea they're messing with. The American people, when we unite under the same banner of America first, screw all the other BS. It's horse shit, you know it. It's you and me. It's the American people against this cabal of bullcrap. That's the root cause of our problems. That's what they don't want you to know. They want you and me beating each other over the head. I'm not doing that no more. I'm done arguing with you. It's not about being right. It's about getting it right, damn it. And that's what we have to do right now. There's no more sideline spectator BS. We know what we have to do. It's just a matter of doing it, and you have a talent to bring. I'm sorry, I probably look like a sweaty mess, but this is the way it is. This is the way it's got to be. We got to fight. We got to do what we got to do with what we have, okay? And I promise you, if we all do that, if that other 1/3 sees what this 1/3 is doing, it takes it over the top. And that's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of you and I actually connecting, actually agreeing, because once we do, we become an unstoppable force in this world. My friends, the Roman Revolution, myself, Dave, I've dedicated my life to trying to change the way people see things. Not because I'm right. I don't give a shit about being right. Like I told you that before. It's just sometimes you don't have all of the pieces. You don't have all of the knowledge necessary to make the educated decision. You just don't have it, but you think you do. And I understand getting in an argument with somebody and feeling really passionate about it and then finding out later that you're wrong, okay? We need to start listening to one another, just sitting and listening, okay? We need to understand where the other person is coming from, but we also need to understand we have to live in reality and truth. We can't keep doing this thing where we perverted the language and the culture so much that when I'm having a conversation about a woman, everybody in the room knows what the hell I'm talking about. If we have a culture in which we don't recognize the basics of understanding old principle definitions and be able to articulate those words, there is no nation, there is no culture, there's no language. It's destroyed. Anyway, I rambled on for enough, okay? What I really would like out of this whole thing, and what I'm going to be trying to do over the next few weeks and months, is to start recording podcasts again. But, you know, I really would like to try to engage with the audience a little bit more, to try to, like, where are you in your life story? What is it that you have that we can benefit from? Trust me, there's a lot we can benefit from. And there's a lot that you bring to the table. So bring it. Let's do this. Let's do this together. We can change the world. One person, one man, one woman, one internal revolution at a time. I hope to see you guys on the battlefield. Please take this message wherever you want to. Friend me, find me, follow me. Make a comment and link below and like the video. Share it, please. It does help. You know, like I said before, I'm only trying to make a huge impact in anybody that I can reach, all right? I'm not here to be right. Like I said again, I'm just about getting it right. So I will see you guys on the battlefield, all right? Take care. Find those root causes. Destroy language, border, and culture. That destroys your nation, okay? We got to get these things back. It's going to take you and me, my friends. I love you guys. Talk to you soon. Take care.